All right. Okay, here we go. We're live both on our YouTube page, my YouTube page, and Facebook right now. Hopefully the audio is good and everything's good. I haven't seen you guys in a while. Hello, it's me, Travis from Memory Meat, and you're watching the podcast, the Memory Meat podcast. So this is the first day that I'm going to be streaming on YouTube as well. Only because my brother suggested I should, so I'm going to. Today I want to talk to you about manipulation, which is negative, right? It has a negative connotation that comes with it. No one likes to be manipulated in the movies. The evil guy's always out there manipulating people. But when it comes down to it, manipulation is 100% something you should know how to do. You're like, Travis, what are you talking about? We're supposed to live honestly and be a part of the world and do things and not lie and whatever. And I'm like, you lie to people. I know you lie to people. I lie to people. You know, it's an unfortunate part of being a human being. We just lie instinctually to each other and also just to, basically at any point in time. And you may think of manipulation as only being negative. However, there is positive manipulation. But this is actually a first installment of a lot of things that I want to say about humanity. Humans as a system, right? Here we are. We make cool stuff, but we also make security measures that can be flawless. These great things that people do. And it's like, oh man, what a great system. But as long as there's a human aspect of anything involved with the implementation of the security, there is an exploitable thing, because human beings are the most exploitable thing in the world. Thanks to emotions. You know, unfortunately, if someone goes out and just takes 2 seconds to like look up your Facebook, look what you like, look what you don't like, you can find out someone's anger trigger words, emotional triggers in general, which can be used to exploit that human system. And this is in the biz called social engineering. But in this case, I just wanted to bring it up and be like, yeah, guys, you're being manipulated every day. Marketing is manipulation. Hey, Christina, it's me. I have 2 people watching, and I am very thankful because it's always nice to have viewers. But I want to encourage you guys to look into manipulation, because as humans, we actually have a bunch of things we share as far as tells. And there's just so many, like just body language. I'm sure you guys know body language takes up a large portion of our communication. Because words are just words, but then you got tone, and then you got your hands, and and your body, and all this stuff. And depending on what you want from someone, you can manipulate them to get it. That's why there is a criminal enterprise called con men or confidence men, and these are people that can basically spoof anything, spoof emotions, spoof confidence. They'll walk into somewhere and you'll just be like, that person actually probably belongs here. And that's something you should foster and create in yourself, is that confidence. And you may be like, oh man, it's not that easy. I guess not. I mean, all you have to do is remind yourself that every human being on earth is kind of like stumbling around. No one has it. No one has it all. Like no one is like, I know everything and I'm the best. And even that, if someone was doing that, like I know everything and I'm the best and I'm a super proud person, that's an exploit. I can exploit that in that person. If someone's super proud, narcissistic, or the opposite, super shy and like an introvert, all of that can be exploited for whatever you want. And I know that's weird and scary, but I mean, it's the truth. So take that in for a second. Oh man. I don't know if I'm sick or whatever, but I don't even know where I was going with this. Today, I was just like, I have to do a podcast, and I want to do stuff about manipulation and help you guys like be confident, and to get interviews based on just like being an awesome person or being perceived as one. For me, I actually decided that I'd start trying to manipulate my surroundings at the end of the 8th grade. Going into high school, I realized that I wanted to like be popular. I was like, hey, that'd be cool to be popular, because before I was just like sitting on the wall, drawing Pokemon and all that great, awesome stuff that I did to not be cool. And everyone's like, man, that Travis guy, he's tall. That's basically it. So going into high school, I decided that maybe popularity was an algorithm. Maybe popularity was just knowing what people liked in people. And it's actually a pretty straightforward thing. So people like to be listened to, number one. So let's say you're at a bar and you're like, man, I'm all alone. And I just want to hang out with someone and have a good time. So, and this is something I do frequently. I will sit there and find someone I want to talk to. And all you have to do, what I usually do, is, hey, what's up? I'm Travis. I was just sitting over there, and I'm all by myself. Do you mind if I tag along with you? No big deal. Crazy. And then they're usually laugh because of the automatic, just like weird, like awkward tone. I'm just over there, so can I come over here? And then they always, I don't think any of them, well, one group of people, these old Spanish women outside of a pizza place, they didn't let me sit down at their chairs. I mean, they weren't even their chairs. It was like the restaurants, but I was like, can I sit down with you guys? And they're like, no, what's going on? And I was just like, oh, geez, my bad. I didn't mean to offend you so bad. So just coming up to someone automatically and being unassuming and being like, hey, what's up? I'm Travis, and I literally don't have anything else to do. But so you look alone too, so we might as well hang out together. And I've actually gotten to hang out like recently. I did that, and I ended up meeting this semi-pro soccer player that had played overseas and then had like owned half of a grow house in Pueblo, like for marijuana. And then he loved me so much, he bought me all my drinks and then drove me around everywhere. I had an Uber drive us around everywhere, and it was great. But my intention was just to, I guess, entertain myself, which I guess would be selfish, but I didn't hurt anyone. I didn't, do anything that person. And in fact, I feel like I do a service for people, because I flawlessly just steamroll myself into people's lives. And sometimes they need someone to talk to. Sometimes they just want to have a good time, and I could be any of those things for those people, and that's manipulation. And that's just a small version of what I do within a relationship. I think manipulation should be kept to a minimum, only because for me, my relationship theory is that if I choose to date you, I'm going to give it 100%, because what's the other option? I give you 50, and then we have a long, weird dance where you feel like I'm not even there anyway. So I usually give 100%, and I don't manipulate at all. I'm blunt and honest and all that, which is sometimes fun, sometimes not. Being honest isn't fun, but also being honest is a manipulator. Like there's choosing to live honestly versus tenderly walking around someone's sensibilities is ridiculous. Doing that, you're not helping anyone. You're just helping yourself not be involved in a confrontation. And at that point, you're just, what is even your relationship with this person? Lies, just like, you feel certain ways, but you don't even communicate with them at all. And it's just like, what are you even doing at this point? Having physical contact, which is nice. You're lying to maintain a lie. So instead of doing any of that, I choose to just be honest in relationships. Outside of relationships, since it's just me over here, I don't have too many friends except for a couple that lives in my building. I would consider them my friends, Jacob and Katrina. They're great people. But and that's really hard for me to say. That's hard to do. I like knowing that humans are so exploitable. I also am exploitable. I also realize that people could be actively trying to manipulate me, or worse, passively trying to manipulate me. People can exist in this world and think that they're on this honest like person, but actually be passively manipulating everybody and being terrible, and then not know it. So when you're like, hey, I think you're trying to manipulate me, they're like, no, I'm not. I would never do that to a human being, and so on and so forth. Let's see, what time is it? Oh God, I have to go to work soon. So anyway, there's one person watching. I'm not sure who it is, but let's see, anything else? There's so much about manipulation that I want to talk to you about, but I really have to make lessons, lesson plans, and like I want to actually teach my confidence theory and stuff, but that's not going to be today because obviously I'm not prepared for this podcast. Just sitting here talking into a microphone. Let's see, what else is there to say? What do you got? Who's out there? So how do you guys feel about manipulation? Anyone out there want to participate? Does manipulation scare you? I mean, I think it scares most people. Sometimes I wish people would just flawlessly manipulate me so I don't have to be so stressed out all the time. Like if someone just figured me out, they could play me like a piano and make sure that I'm happy all the time. Either that or miserable. It depends. So coming up October is Horror Fest 2018, which is when I watch a scary movie every single day at minimum. So hopefully I'll be watching lots of scary movies because I'm a big fan. It's easy. Oh yeah. So Christina just said that I'm assuming manipulation is easy in the workplace. Absolutely. That's because everyone is operating on a very, very shallow level. Like no one's going around sharing feelings or trying to create anything. They're all just trying to get through the workday. So you could definitely become everyone's friend. I usually do that because it's easier to be everyone's friend, talk to them. Most people just want to be heard, which is funny. Like everyone's like, oh, I don't know how to, make friends and whatever. It's like literally just go sit by them and ask them about themselves. And that's it. That's how easy it is to make friends. And because once someone is convinced that you're like intensely interested in who they are, then they decide you're friends. It doesn't even matter if you give anything about yourself. You just ask them about them. And see how far it goes. Sometimes people will just like open up about stuff because, a reality of this world is that most people don't like hearing about other people's lives. And so it's so unique when someone comes up and is like, hey, how's it going? My name's Travis. So what are you all about? Like, what are you doing? And then they're like, oh, I'm drinking a beer. And it's just like, yeah. Have you always drank beer? And then everything, like, it's just the rabbit hole. Like, have you always drank beer? Yeah, I've drank beer for a while. I used to drink whiskey. Why'd you stop drinking whiskey? Oh, because it used to get me into these fits. Oh, yeah, like what? Oh, you just get mad and then I just want to punch things, and it got me into trouble. And I'm like, so beer doesn't? And it's just like this. There is always questions to ask to get deeper into who someone is, and it's super interesting. Like, go out and try it. I dare you to go out, and you don't even have to be confident. You just have to spoof confidence for a second. Just sit next to someone, and if they're by themselves, they usually want to hang out with someone. Like usually, because you know what? When you go into a bar, you're signing that agreement that you want to be around people. And you could be like, I'm an introvert or whatever. But if the minute you walk into a bar, is that being introverted? I think for me, when I go into a bar, it's literally so I could have the possibility of talking to people. And most times I don't want to talk to anyone. So I'm like, okay, Travis, you need social interaction here. So you should just go out to a bar. It's easy. You make friends easy. You can have some laughs. And it's like, I always think of the quote from Fight Club, like a single service or a single use friend, someone that you probably won't talk to ever again. And someone that you actually may have a genuine connection with, but just for that night. And like it literally can mean and doesn't have to mean anything. And they never have to even like ask you anything. It's like a perfect control situation. And for me, yes, I enjoy being in control. However, I also enjoy being out of control in a sense that someone else is doing all the work. But I don't typically get into those situations. I'm always the one thinking into the future. Okay. So there, I gave you a task. Go out to a bar, spy someone or a group. Sometimes actually it does where it works on groups too. Like as long as you aren't a weird, shady person, like think of the person you don't want to approach you. Think of that person. Just terrible. Like you're like, oh great, here he comes. Think about that person and don't be that person. Think about someone you'd like to come up. A happy, demeanored person that's dressed pretty well, has a drink in his hand, is smiling, ready to have some good old-fashioned conversation. And that's the person you should be. And that's the funny thing. Like, that's how the human brain works. I could be like, think of a bank robber. And you would, what are you thinking of? Who's the bank robber? What do they look like? For me, I think of the old-timey black and white striped black pants, the mask and the hat, like sneaking with a big bag of money. That's what I think of. That's not even true. Like bank robbers don't have like a dress code, same thing. And that, I mean, this is going somewhere interesting. Like terrorism, right? Everyone has an idea. Like think of a terrorist. Go ahead. What do they look like? Mm-hmm. Yeah. They don't have a dress code either. In fact, since we have such a hard-coded brain system of putting things together, like stereotyping, we like to put like a character mask on them. Like, what does a businessman look like? Boop. Dude in a suit with a briefcase, walking fast, talking on the phone, maybe, and his Bluetooth. What does a dancer look like? For me, I automatically went female, probably because that's just what I'm thinking of. And that's how the brain works. Like think of any of those things and it's wrong. Like I could be a dancer. You don't know. You're like, Travis, but you don't look like a dancer. And it's like, what does a dancer look like? What does anything look like? And that's how terrorism works. They exploit the human brain by not being what you think they're going to be. Like in the military, they routinely told us to look out for certain, signs of terrorism. And I'm like, okay, well, I mean, there have been many people who have been recruited to do terrorism and, they're white, black, Mexican, it doesn't matter. Like they're not some dude from the Middle East with a turban and wearing a suicide vest. It's never going to be that easy, which is why terrorism is so effective, because it exploits the human brain. Like we think just like a thief or like a mugger. Like what if I was just looking really good and I came up to you and it was like, we're getting along and everything. And I'm operating outside of a stereotype. You look at me and I'm not necessarily threatening, right? I'm not necessarily a dude who's going to be intimidating, because that's not how I run. Like my engine runs at very kind and approachable on a regular basis, unless I'm by myself and I don't want to talk to anyone. And then I go down to like shady, weird dude in the corner. Like, oh, who's that guy? But beyond that, I operate on a very nice exterior, just smiley, fun, trying to talk to people and laugh. And that alone can be used against everyone at all times. Like it's surprised me just how far being a enjoyable person will get you. And I don't have any like malicious tendencies. I don't want to steal. I don't want to hurt anyone. But it's just like if someone did want to do that, all they'd have to do is do this. and be genuine and spoof emotions. And that is terrifying to me that someone could just be super nice to me and be like, la, 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 la. And they're like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And I'd probably like, they're like, do you want to go here? And I'd be like, yeah. And then we'd go there and then I'd be like, cool. And then I'd be like, man, we're going to get to that bar soon. And then before I even know it, I'm in a kill box and I'm dead now. I think about that stuff all the time. Is that weird? Probably. Probably is weird. I am definitely the guy who's thinking about all the shady individuals out there. Anyways, I think that's it for today. Manipulation. What is it? It's just a word that acknowledges that human beings absolutely manipulate each other every day, be it for good or bad. Maybe they have an agenda, maybe they don't, but the people do it unconsciously, they do it consciously, they do it passively, they do it actively. Marketing is manipulation, signs are manipulation. Like it all comes together to manipulate you, which is cool. You know, that's just the state of things. It's just when someone chooses to weaponize manipulation that it is scary. However, manipulation can be used to get a job, can be used to get free stuff, can be used to get into restricted areas, can be used to get passcodes from people that like it, and this has all been tested. I've been studying all of this stuff like psychology and body language and micro expressions and all these things for like 10 years now. And it is so interesting just how much we do have in common. And I'm happy I'm not an evil dude. You know, I just go out and try to make friends. But anyway, I think that's it. I'm going to watch The Iron Fist now, which is okay. It's an okay show. Anything else from the one person? Open it up for questions, comments, or concerns. Go for it. I keep forgetting to hook up my piano and play stuff. That'd be funny. That would be funny. No questions. Okay. I will talk to you guys next time. Probably see you tomorrow. Goodbye. And goodbye to you, YouTube.